What's up, Rad Dads? Welcome back to another episode of the Rad Dads podcast, hosted by none other than the two raddest dads on the East Coast. In studio tonight is myself, Sal, and Rob. But we also have a special guest. Our guest tonight is a man who wears many hats. He is not only a rad dad, but also an entrepreneur, founder, and CEO of Verasoni, a marketing communications advisory consultancy and agency located in Fairfield, New Jersey. He is the executive producer, director, and writer of 1001 Journeys, the Arab Americans. He was inducted into the Seton Hall University Entrepreneur Hall of Fame in September of 2018. He is also the founder of OnlyOneToothbrush.com, a philanthropic effort aimed to bring 200,000 toothbrushes to support the oral health of Syrian refugees in Germany, Canada, and the United States. He is also a board member of the London based Awareness Foundation and served as a board member of the Phi Alpha Delta Law Fraternity International Foundation. Holds a master's degree in public administration and bachelor's of arts in political science from Seton Hall University. Last and certainly not least, he is also an author. He is currently putting the finishing touches on his new book, Conscious Marketing: Avoid Marketing Hype and Create Real Value for Your Business, Enterprise, and Brand, due to hit bookshelves this year. Please welcome Abe Casbo to the show. Abe, welcome to the podcast.
Sal, Rob, Rad Dads, awesome to be with you. Thank you for having me.
That is a lengthy.
That's a little too much.
That is a lengthy resume.
Yeah, I do want to say about the book. We're changing the title. We're changing the title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's an internal debate in here, but it's scheduled to be out in third quarter this year. So I'm really excited about that.
Ah, okay. Looking forward to see what the new title is going to be.
Me too.
From the sounds of it, there's many people inputting their thoughts and ideas.
There are, but I think that when I first started the business, our tagline was fiercely independent marketing, and I think that we ought to go back to that. The idea of conscious marketing is important. I think you really, especially today, there's so much being thrown at us from a marketing perspective, and we're the marketing agencies are thrown at the market, but I think changing that title to fiercely independent marketing, takes me back home a little bit. So we're playing with that.
I like that too.
Yeah, thank you.
That's definitely an attention grabber.
Let's see where that goes, man. We're just throwing stuff at the wall sometimes.
Isn't that what they say? Throw as many things to the wall and see what sticks.
It's just that's right. That's right. It's just about being persistent. Just be persistent.
So, Abe, welcome to the show. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to that resume that I didn't mention?
Absolutely not. I'd actually like to take some of those things back. But there are everything that you mentioned has been a blessing. It's been a truly a wonderful journey, and in doing these things, you meet a lot of amazing people, and who touched up my life certainly, and I'm grateful for that.
That's awesome. So, Abe, how many kids do you have, and what are their ages?
I have 18-year-old twins, and a boy and a girl, and they are freshmen in college right now.
Nice.
Nice? Did you just say nice?
Nice. They're freshmen in college.
Rob, that comes with it. I don't know if you've seen the outflow of funds.
That's what I just said. Not the bill that comes with it.
Holy moly! Honestly, guys, we as a nation, I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. How old are your kids?
9 and 11.
Okay. And Sal, can you just for the audience?
11, 12, and 13. Soon to be 11, 12, and 14.
You're all screwed. I mean, seriously, because unless they get a full ride, I mean, right now I'm probably going to be into it in cash for about $350,000. It's insane. I mean, we're the only country in the world that does this. You go to Europe, that's not the way it is. You go to South America, it's not the way it is. Any Western country, um, I mean, $350,000. What is happening?
When you say 350,000, is that total for the 4 years, or is that 1 year, which is
Um, no,
fall
that's
semester,
total
spring
for both
semester?
of them. For both of them, it's total for 4 years.
Okay, but still, that's
No, it's insane.
that's
It's
crazy.
literally like to me, it's a wealth transfer again. Everything that my wife and I have worked for now has to go to somebody else. We do a great job in printing money for various things in this country, as everybody knows. We print money for that.
Indeed, we do.
We don't take care of education. We don't take care of our health. Why do we print money? And we don't do that. So anyway, that's just my bitching session. I am wearing my Temple shirt to represent. That's where Sophia goes, right? And Nicholas goes to Rutgers. So proud of those guys and girls, and can't wait to see can't wait to see what that investment produces.
Let's see what the ROI is.
Well, listen, it doesn't have to be. We don't have to measure ROI in dollars, right? Like, I think there's a whole thing to the experience in college. I think there's a whole thing to kind of trying to find yourself, and obviously going to the library and studying if that happens. But the college experience, I think, is important. I think it's you try to find yourself, you try to figure out where you want to go. It's a process of exploration. It's also a process, hopefully, of education, of kind of getting out of yourself and learning something different, right? Challenging yourself academically. And I really, I wish that that's happening right now. And I think it is. I think both those kids kind of know, certainly where I came from, literally from, we immigrated from Syria when I was 10. We had nothing. And we're in a very thankful situation that we found ourselves in, that we're able to put these kids through college right now.
How has becoming a father changed your life, and what has it taught you?
Oh man, I don't know if I can answer that honestly without cursing. I was actually just talking to my wife Anna about that. Sometimes you look back and for me, I coached basketball for a long time, and as a basketball coach, you replay games, right? Like and so I do the same thing in my head with the kids, right? I think we all go back and say, should I have done this differently, or should I have said this differently? And but I think ultimately, if you try to set values for the kids, which I think we have, and sort of give them some guardrails and give them a path. Ultimately, they've got to live their own life, no matter what we think, right? And just think about how we all grew up. We had our own way. We had to find our own way. So I think in the beginning for me, it was a process of, oh my gosh, I have to pay for these two. How do I do it? Right. Especially as a small business person, because you're constantly, I was constantly on the road. I was producing the film. And frankly, I think what I've learned most is that if you don't have a really good partner, like Anna was just a rock, right? There'd be days where, I would just say, hey, listen, I'm leaving. I have to do this interview for the film, or, I'm traveling for work and I have to go and it's last minute. And, the kids are 3 years old. Right. And she would just take care of it. So, I think the partnership early on, the partnership, throughout the kids growing up, it's not just about the kids. It's also about your partner. And that part of it is, for me, when I think about it, I'm not sure I could have done any of this stuff, and no matter what level, without Anna. So I've learned I've got to appreciate that, and I've always appreciated that. I'm not sure if I show that all the time, but I can tell you I appreciate that.
Well, you can show it on the Hallmark holidays like Valentine's Day.
Yeah, well, we don't celebrate Valentine's Day because, as you could see with this, every day is Valentine's Day. Okay? There is no Valentine's Day in our home. Every day,
Every day.
every day is Valentine's.
No, but I agree with you. Having your significant other be there to be your rock and to pick up where essentially you're leaving off. Hey, I got to go, and she's there. You know, supporting you and maybe sometimes guiding you down the right path when you come to a fork in the road. I think
Yeah,
is tremendous, and that's half the battle with finding the right significant other, the partner, and starting a family, because you know that they'll
absolutely.
be there with you through those tough journeys.
Absolutely. There is no way I could have just done this by myself, or I mean, sometimes, I mean, here's the thing about Anna. All right. So there's a like literally a gourmet meal every night on the table. She works. She went to school and got a double master's, and she raised these kids, and not just we both raised them, but where I had to travel, she had to deal with that, and without too many hymns and haws either. So very lucky, very lucky.
Have you ever read the book Think and Grow Rich?
I've seen the book Think of and Grow Rich, but I have not read it.
One of the last chapters talks about the power of love and how behind every man, right? And it's specifically talks about men, so correlates to our podcast, but for other audience members, we apologize. But behind every man, there's a woman, and actually, it doesn't say love; it says sex. So that the power of sex, I think it's sex, really drives men. And like I believe they use Napoleon as an example. When Napoleon was at his height, he had his wife, and when he said, "I don't have time for you," I set her aside. That's when he started getting defeats because he lost what was really truly important to him.
Yeah,
And you see it, right? Bezos had his wife, then he separated. Gates, same thing. So these guys get to a specific point in their lives and like, oh, I'm better than what I was. But the person that was there with you got you to where you are.
yeah,
And if you think you can do that without them, then you're in trouble. So I just thought it very, very well correlated to what you were describing with your wife. So
absolutely.
besides the large bill that you're about to get after 4 years of college, what challenges have
I've
you
already
faced?
paid for a semester. Thank you very much.
All right.
Second semester too, by the way.
What challenges have you faced raising your kids?
Yeah, I what challenges? I mentioned before I coached basketball, and I think that uh, when they were younger, they were enamored with basketball. I think because I was, I liked the game, and but I think you get to a point where you may have where I may have put a little too much pressure on them, and maybe drove them from the game, and that actually and maybe they had their own limitations, and I'm sort of making this up, right? Because athletically, you know both kids aren't going to the NBA or WNBA or even Division One basketball, right? So, um, but I think that for me bothered me because I used to sit in the coaching chair and I used to look at parents and say, "Oh my God, like what are these people thinking about?" Right? And then I kind of got into that mode, and then sort of quickly extricated myself out of that mode by not coaching anymore. Um, and so just to kind of watch them play. So I think that was a real challenge for me because competitively, I'm a very competitive individual. I like to I like to play. I like to win. I like to learn from losing. I don't like losing. So that was difficult. I think kind of a period, maybe 2-3 years, but it was an adjustment for me. Um, I've also learned to back off a little bit. Maybe the kids won't agree with that, but I've learned to back off a little bit. Uh, maybe a lot.
What
On certain
when you say back off, do you mean let them figure it out on their own and see how they do?
Yeah, let them make their own mistakes.
Okay.
Or let them have their triumphs, or whatever it is. Um, you know, I, that was, and it continues to be a challenge for me, because they'll ask me, hey, what do you think of this, and I'll go to tell them, right, like exactly what I think, and I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't tell them exactly what I think, right? Maybe I should sort of give them 50% of the information and let the other 50% leave that off, right? Let that be a teaching moment. Let that be a moment for them to grow. And to be honest with you, I haven't mastered that. I'm still struggling with it. The kids are 18. I'm struggling with it. Right. I'm just being honest. I think I fall on my face more often than not with the kids. And as much as I try to learn from my own mistakes, but I think it's, I think it's an individual thing. I think you guys probably go through this with your young kids too.
Yes, I mean, I we were helicopter parents, and I don't deny it, but we have stepped back significantly because now, like you said, it's their turn to make their decisions. Now, my kids are young; they're not making the same decisions that your kids are, but you know, we have to. They have to decide which path they want to take, and it's our responsibility to say, "Hey, look, just so you know, every action has a reaction. So depending on the decision you make, there may be consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's consequences, are you ready to accept those consequences? Or the other path you take, there's going to be challenges. Are you going to be ready for those challenges? You, we try to prepare them mentally and try to get them to think outside the box. Okay, if I go this way, this is try to in a way foresee the future, see what could
Yeah.
potentially what the outcome may be, just so
Right.
they're ready.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, we don't come with instruction books, and they don't come with instruction books.
That's for sure.
And I don't care what the internet or Chat GPT says. This isn't that.
The latest and greatest AI tool, huh?
None of that. So,
I mean, that's another reason why we put this podcast together, is because when women are pregnant, they have that book, What to Expect When Expecting. There's no manual for men. There's no manual for guys.
yeah, I'm not even sure that book does any helps anybody. like there's a book for everything. Like there's 7 billion people on this planet. I think 6,900,000,000. I'm bad at math. 6,900,000,000. I don't think needed a book. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The human experience is, to me, the ultimate what the fuck.
But
Right.
sometimes that could be dangerous because in my field, there are some guys that if it's not in black and white, it must be wrong. This is not how I read it. This is not how it's supposed to happen. Well, okay, I get it. I totally understand. I said, but we're in the real world here. We're in reality. This is the situation that we have. Let's put our heads together to come up with a solution. I get it. There's no line. There's no bullet point for what you're seeing right now. So now we have to come up with something that satisfies you as the client and satisfies us as the contractor.
Yeah, I mean, look, we definitely live in a gray world. We also live in a world where two things could be true at the same time. And we just naturally we want to be on the right path. I think we want to do the right thing. We strive to do the right thing. And these books and these there's a cottage industry of stuff that, if you look back, I'm like, how did we populate this planet without these books? Really? How did that happen? Right? No offense, but do we need blogs on 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 matching jeans, and like, do we need that?
Wait, jeans like your jeans like in your body jeans or jeans
Yeah,
that you wear?
wearing like light jeans versus dark jeans with like, I mean, there are so many of these niche things.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but look, I'm sure those books do help people, but I think that everybody has the power. I really do. I believe in people. Everybody has the power to make their own path, and some people need help, and certainly I need a lot of help. I do read a lot of books, but I often wonder why do I read so many books?
Well, Abe, one of the challenges we face as dads is the work-life balance. How have you been able to effectively balance time with everything that you have on your plate and your family?
I haven't. I think that work life balance is a term made up by consultants to just promote that whole thing, right? I mean, to me, there's no such thing. Look, as a small business person, I started the business literally when the kids were 3 months old. We had no income. We had no income, zero. I threw a chair at my boss and I left my
Holy
position.
shit.
The kids were 3 months old. I walked in the house and Anna's like, "You're home early." I'm like, "I just threw a chair at my boss. I don't think I have a job anymore. I have to do something." Right? I had no idea. I had no plan. I had nothing. Right? And but somehow it happened. I remember dropping the kids off because I had to work and had to travel. We had to put the kids in daycare. I'll never forget the first day that I dropped the kids off in daycare ever. It was in Cedar Grove. I dropped them off. I threw up on the side of the building. I threw up on the side of the building.
Was it nerves or?
It was like I'm leaving my fucking kids with these people that I don't know, and these other kids, they have snot in their nose and stuff, and then somebody's gonna bite them, right? Like, I'm like, and I'm a bad dad. You know what I mean?
This is not what the book said.
That's not what the book said, like. So I don't, I worked a lot, and I still work a lot. I don't there I don't know. I mean, for me, there is no balance. There is no balance. For me, it's been, focus on building the business, making sure that we have income for the kids. That's what I'm focused on. I build the business, kids eat. I don't build the business, the kids don't eat. That's the balance.
But hold on. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So when you're home, are
Yeah.
you home?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Okay.
I mean, I mean, Anna calls my laptop, which I'm talking to you on now, my girlfriend, or whatever. It's part and parcel of trying to get the next deal, or again, now, like, do I need to write a book? Probably not. Like, why am I writing a book? I have no idea. Actually, I know why I'm writing a book, right? But I'm sort of driven to do these things, and I do them. And sometimes when I'm home, I'm not home. I'm not present. And she reminds me of that, and that's why we have Non-Divorce Night. She calls it date night, but you all know what this is all about. It's Non-Divorce Night. Okay, everybody who's listening, take note. I own nondivorcenight.com. It's not monetized yet. Okay, but she's smarter than me. So I think when the kids were about 2, I was doing a lot of traveling. The film was just getting started, whatever. It was just, and I was trying to figure out what the hell to do with the business. And she's like, "Listen, every Friday night, I don't care what happens. If you're traveling, fine, but we're going to get a bottle of wine, we're going to get some cheese, and we're going to watch a foreign flick, right?" And we've been doing that since the kids were 2. That's 16 years, maybe 17 years.
And why a foreign flick?
It kind of gets us out of the sort of, And we like foreign films too. So, but it kind of gets us out of the just kind of our environment, right? Like so, but through the years, we've gone from foreign flicks to Game of Thrones and to you know streaming other shows and watching British sitcoms and that sort of thing.
So we're gonna have a blog on the Rad Dad's website, Non-Divorce Night.
Listen, I think it'd be a great idea if we built a community around non-divorce night, right? Because you can have the men and the women and or whatever. It could be two men, what, it doesn't matter, right? Whoever's in a relationship, and we can compare bottles of wine, right? And we can compare cheese, and then we could fight about the foreign films and what sucked and what didn't suck and what was good, and
I like Non-Divorce Night. That's good.
that's what we do.
So
So we achieve balance every Friday night. It's like, and then Friday night it's like non-divorce night.
but that's important. That's important in every relationship. I mean, my wife and I, we try to do once a month date night because
Oh,
once sports kick into high gear, it's lunacy between practice and games, and I coach my youngest daughter, and we're pulled in 6,000 different directions. So we try to do at least once a month a date night.
wow. What about you, Rob?
We do about once a month. We don't dedicate ourselves as much as you do or Sal does, but I think we try to achieve that night out, at least away from the kids, to do something. Even we went away this weekend, and one night we went back to the hotel and we're like, why don't we just grab drinks and bring it back to the room? And the kids were already passed out, and it was just to spend kind of time together, even though we were all in the same room. It's just a little bit to like shake the everyday, pretty much.
That's pretty cool.
So we committed to all the dads that listen to us. We try to get together at least once a month, Rad Dad's Night. Just hang out, food, beer, bourbon, cigars, whatever they want to bring, and we just hang out around the fire pit and shoot the shit.
I like that. And where does this happen?
It depends. Some it restaurants or some houses.
Some random houses.
Mostly Sal in my house.
Yeah, mostly mine and Rob's house.
That's pretty cool.
We had it actually one time at the local barbershop in town. Had a bourbon tasting with a bunch of dads, which was pretty cool.
That's super cool. That's super cool. Look, we're talking about this Rad Dads thing. I want to tell you something. So, like the last couple of weeks, I've gotten calls from like 2 or 3 of my friends, like my age, maybe your age, whatever. I'm just trying to make myself younger because I know you guys are a little bit younger than me. And I've never gotten these calls before. And they were, and these guys are all like highly successful, and this one guy's like, listen, he's like, we just have to get together. He's like, I just need to talk. Just the pressures. Just, like I just think that there's so much going on post-COVID. So much going on with work. But I've never gotten calls from friends around my age who are basically saying, hey, let's have a conversation.
And that's important.
Yeah, it is important. So I can't wait to hang out with those guys and kind of just see what's going on. It's just honestly, like, even for me, I think with the kids being in college, and the dog are home, but just the financial pressures are, and aside from just the kids writing those checks, right, which is insane. It's like a different level, it seems. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I'm trying to prepare for it. I'm going to have 3 in college at the same time, so it's but that as men, I think we're wired to keep everything bottled up and not really talk about it. And hopefully, having this podcast and the dads that listen to us they're encouraged to just pick up the phone and talk, call one of their friends if they need to talk, or if they're not feeling right. They just have a conversation. Just say, hey, dude, you got 5 minutes? We can talk. We can go grab a drink or something. I just got to get something off my chest. But most of the men are wired to just bottle up and stash it away,
Yeah.
and that becomes dangerous, because there's going to be one day that the one person that you come across is just going to rub you the wrong way or say something wrong, and then that bottle cap's just going to come off, and it's going to come all out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's I just I find it sort of interesting living in this time. Never in the history of man or woman have we been so connected ever. And yet, some of the people that I talk to just feel lonely or feel disconnected, right? Despite all of this and
Yeah.
everything else, right? um it is important, I think, to get together, and it's the human contact is wired in our DNA, and I could tell you that this thing is probably rewired, and it's rewiring our kids, the way they think, the way that they feel about themselves, the way they see themselves. And we're seeing it in the suicide rates that Instagram is contributing to, or Facebook, or whatever. Those studies are out there. They're well established, and we have to be careful not to abdicate parenthood to technology. We really have to be careful about that. We let our kids have iPhones, I think, going into eighth grade. Eighth grade? I think eighth grade. If not eighth grade, seventh grade. And they were the last kids in their class to get a mobile phone.
I commend you. I fought with my wife like hell.
Ew.
And as soon as they graduated 5th grade, they got phones, because that was, I mean, look, my wife was right. That was our way of staying in contact with our kids. But I'm going to tell you right now, my kids are not on social media. The most my kids have is YouTube.
Yeah.
They watch hair braiding videos, just 5-minute crafts and stuff like that. They don't have Facebook. They don't have Instagram. They don't have Snapchat. They don't have any of that shit. And they've asked in the past, and I said, no, there's no need for it.
He folded like an
Just so
accordion.
you guys know that TikTok, for example, TikTok in China, TikTok in China and TikTok here are not the same TikToks, right?
Yep.
You guys know that kids are not allowed to have the crap that we have here on TikTok. It's educational. It's whatever. It's sort of like what the rest of the world has when it comes to nutrition, except for the United States, right? Like, you buy a bag of Doritos in the US, it's got like shit that a thesaurus can't even fucking find, right? And you go to London and you pick up a bag of Doritos, like, oh, chips and spices, and in the fucking US, it's like you need a fucking, like, I don't know, it's like Moby Dick, right?
It's funny you say that. My wife and I were having that conversation today. All the ingredients that are banned in other countries in the food, we allow here in the United States, which is it's mind blowing. It's crazy.
Not mind blowing. It's not mind blowing, Sal. It's capitalism. It's capitalism.
But they're making it for other countries. Just sell the same shit here.
Yeah, because the FDA and Congress are bought by these companies here, so it's like, let's just sell them some shit. In Europe, they're like, are you fucking kidding me? You're not selling that shit here. That's not how we do it here. That's not how we do it. We have to, I think, stop believing this, our own myth, and start looking at what's really impacting our lives individually and make individual decisions.
It's everything we eat. I agree 100%. Stop eating processed foods and relying on TikTok and YouTube to tell you how to live.
That's exactly right.
So if I could kill the deer in my backyard, I'd live off them, because they fucking eat all my vegetables.
All right. I mean, those are organic.
Yeah, exactly.
The deer or the vegetables?
Literally jalapenos, habaneros. I mean, everything I planted.
Wait, the deer eat the habaneros?
Yeah,
Really?
everything.
That's
I was
gotta
so pissed.
that's gotta hurt on the way out.
Oof. I love habaneros.
Yeah, me too.
Wow.
So Abe, as raising our kids or as growing up, we have family traditions. Are there any family traditions that you had growing up that you would like to for your kids to pass on with their family?
We just did a lot of like with the kids. With the kids, we did a lot of traveling, like international traveling. So I would love for my kids to travel with their kids. I think you learn a lot through travel and stuff like that. We we went to Canada a lot, and so like Montreal became a thing for us. Would love for the kids to go to Montreal, but interestingly, um, you know, I grew up in Patterson, and um, and I used to, and actually the kids were born in Patterson, so I would take them to Nori's Syrian Bakery, and they've been going there for a long time. And it's funny because you know like going through their teens, sometimes they would complain, blah blah blah, and then like the other day I see like Nicholas and Sophia and their friends, they're like in Patterson eating some stuff, right, like at some restaurant. I'm like, I know what's happening here. So they're kind of, I think they're going to carry that on. But I think that our love of travel, and certainly our love of good restaurants and food. Um, uh, I know that that's impacted the kids, and that they think about that a lot. And it's a I think it's gone beyond a tradition. It's almost like embedded in our psyche. Like right now we're looking to travel with them. We're trying to set up a trip to either like Spain and Morocco, or maybe Greece in the summer. So
Very nice.
yeah, let's see where that one goes.
All right. Hey, we're gonna do the rapid fire round. We'll see how rapid this gets. Favorite book?
Favorite book? Wow, I don't have a favorite book, to be honest with you. I really don't. Although I do have a bunch of books that I'm reading right now. So Uncommon Wrath. I've got like 4 books right here. I don't have a favorite book.
No.
I
All
really-
right. Favorite food?
Oh, so you guys know I grew up in Syria, right? So my favorite food is actually called yebra, which is grape leaves, right? Stuffed grape leaves. But it's not like the Greek ones where they're cold. Like you got to do them right. They got to be warm, soaked in lemon, and some garlic. But that Greek stuff is good, but not as good as this stuff.
All right, I'll have to give it a try. Favorite sports team?
Favorite sports team? Seton Hall Pirates, baby.
All right. Favorite dad moment?
My favorite dad moment? So, speaking of travel, we were in Ireland, and we were in Cork, Ireland, okay? And we were lost. And apparently we were on the wrong side of town, which we didn't know. We were on the wrong side of town. It looked perfectly normal. So there's a firehouse across the street. The guy comes out, fire chief comes out. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, what? We're looking for the restaurant. He's like, there's no restaurant in this part of town. So he invited us into the firehouse, and he showed us around and whatever. And then he's like, well, what time's your reservation? So we told him. He's like, how about we take you in the fire truck to the restaurant?
Wow, that's freaking amazing.
That was awesome. So the kids got into the fire truck, and they drove. And the guy, he drove us to the restaurant, and that was super cool. That was a cool, really cool dad moment.
That's awesome. Favorite vacation spot?
Paris.
Nice. Any spots you like in Paris specifically? Hotels, restaurants?
We like, there's a small street called Rue Claire, and it's off of the Eiffel Tower. It's not too touristy. In fact, it may not be touristy at all. And there's like one baguette place, one cheese place, and one meat place, and there's like a couple of boutique hotels, and that's it. It's literally like 1 or 2 blocks. So you go to the cheese shop, you go to the bread shop, you go to the meat shop, and you literally sit on the floor and eat, and it was awesome. It's just
That's
awesome.
awesome. All right, I'm gonna throw in a new one. Favorite cheese?
Oh, favorite cheese. I got to go with the Manchego, man. The Manchego, and it depends on how it's made. So, the 3 months obviously is, the cheapest, right? But anything after 3 months we'll tolerate. We love Manchego.
All right, best dad joke.
Oh, I don't really have like, I have to tell you, I come up with dad jokes, but I don't have them like stored in my hard drive. But I have tons of them. Like they just come up randomly and they're different. I just don't store them.
They're not stored in your database?
Oh.
Did you look that up? Because there's no way you did that on the fly.
Did you just come up with that? Sal, did you just come up with that?
No, I've heard that one in the past.
Oh. You should have probably just taken credit for it.
Yeah, I should have. But somebody would have called me out on it, so.
That's right. That's what social media is for.
This is true. The fact checkers.
That's it.
That was good. So, Abe, if our listeners needed your services as a marketing consultant, where could they find you?
So they can go to verasoni.com and or they could find me on LinkedIn, or they can Google me. But verasoni.com is our website, and if anybody needs help on the marketing side, hit us up because I've got a lot of college bills to pay people. Help me out here. I know you guys are laughing, but you ain't gonna be laughing in a few years. You ain't gonna be laughing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look back on this episode, and someone's gonna be like, "Abe, you gotta help me out."
Gonna be calling you up asking for side hustles.
Oh my God, it's brutal.
So, last question we ask all our fathers: if you can impart a word of wisdom to our fathers, whether expecting new fathers or seasoned fathers, what would it be?
I think just be kind to yourself. I think be kind to yourself. We're all going to make mistakes. I mean, geez. And it's very easy. Again, I think because of the books and social media and all this other stuff to get enamored with these alternate realities, but the reality that you live is your reality. And I think you have to, be kind and compassionate to yourself along your journey. And yeah, that's what I got.
Thank you. That's definitely, we definitely make mistakes. Don't be afraid to own the mistake. I tell my kids that all the time. You make a mistake, own it, and then push past it. Make that a learning, lessons learned. You did this and that went wrong. Now let's figure something else out. You go the other direction.
Exactly.
But Abe, thank you very much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure having you. We're looking forward to your book. Looking forward to when it releases. I would like a signed copy if possible. If you can make those arrangements.
Well, I could. I'll send you a link. 1995. Remember, we still have to pay for college. Right? So 1995, I'll send you. But for $21.95, I'll sign it for you.
Excellent. Yes.
Listen, it's an honor to be with you guys. This is a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.